Welcome to DFW Running Talk. I'm Chris Detzel, so let's get started. All right, welcome to another DFW Running podcast. I'm Chris Detzel, and today we have special guest Grace Chow and Maddie Stier, although Maddie's been on a few times, so welcome back, Maddie.
Thanks, Chris.
And
Excited to have a guest today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. And Grace, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here.
There's something special about the two of you. Did somebody want to talk about that real quick?
I will happily talk about it. Maddie and I are sisters, and we both grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I am not a Dallas-Fort Worthian or whatever they are called, but I frequently visit Maddie, and so that's how I got tied into the Dallas running community. But Maddie is a few years older than me, and we've been running ever since middle school.
I know there's some stories that hopefully we'll get to, but were you two competitive at all together earlier when you started running, or was it more later down the road? Or were you even competitive with each other?
I would say, so I am, how much older am I than you, Grace? 4 years, I
3 or
think.
4.
3 or 4 years. So I feel like there was always a big enough gap maybe before like college age where we weren't really competitive. I think our whole family dynamic, we were all pretty competitive. But I was really into soccer growing up, and Grace will share, but Grace was more into running, and I just did running as like a secondary thing. So I wouldn't say we really got competitive probably until maybe I started doing marathons, I would
I
say.
think you have to back up a little bit.
Let's back up then,
Why?
Grace.
Competitive in what?
Competitive, I guess I saw it from a different perspective in that we both ran track when we went to K through 8 middle school, elementary school. Maddie was, I guess, two grades older than me, and so she ran the mile in track. I was a couple years behind her, so track didn't start until I think 5th grade. And so I saw her doing the mile and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a really long distance. And everybody thought it was so cool that Maddie did the mile. And she was like the only one to do it. So I was like, you know what? I want to do the mile. And so once I hit 5th grade, I was like, I'm going to do this thing. And there was another girl in my class who also did it. So we were like anomalies across our school because we all did the mile.
But we also went to a very small, like Lutheran private school. So the mile is not so crazy, I realize. But in our school where there was 25 kids in a grade,
Right.
yes, there was maybe one kid per grade who did the mile. And I didn't even think of Grace, honestly. So sorry. You were just, I did not. Yeah, I wasn't competitive with you. So I'm glad you were trying to beat me.
Yeah, so I guess back to the original question, I was trying to be competitive with Maddie in that she ran the mile in track in middle school. And I think that's where it all started. But Maddie said it, she was focused on soccer, whereas I was focused more on actually ice hockey all the way up until high school. And even in high school I played, but running took priority as soon as I started doing track and realizing I was a lot better at running than playing on a boys hockey team. So that's where running took
Harder
off.
as you get older to play on the guys. So you ran track in high school? Was it 2 mile, 1 mile? What's the?
Yeah, so Maddie and I went to the same high school, and I think we both ran the mile and 2 mile.
I never really did the 2 mile. I did the mile. I was always doing like the distance medley for some reason. I was doing the 1200, usually the 4x8, stuff like that. But our track coach, we called him H, Travis Hasselworth. I don't even know how you say his last name.
Nice,
But
nice shout out.
he was also Grace's cross country coach. So he did distance for track and then cross country. So he was linked up with Grace that way. But Grace wasn't, I think I was a senior when you were a freshman. So again, not a ton of overlap.
Yeah, I always did the 2 mile because I was like, hey, the longer you go, the slower you can go. And nobody wanted to do the 2 mile. So I was like, this is my chance to be really good because there wasn't much competition. Nobody wanted to run 8 laps on a track.
That's how I feel about ultras now.
Yeah.
Just do an ultra and there's not much competition.
It makes you instant confidence boost. It makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Maddie, are you doing an ultra or have you done it?
No, I did the Cowtown Ultra.
Okay.
2022, I think. Yeah. And
Okay.
again, I was one of maybe 7 females.
Did you win it? Women?
Yeah, I won.
Okay.
And don't quote me, there was probably more than 7 females, but there's just not a ton of competition in the ultras. Grace did an ultra.
In 2019, I was looking back at
Oh my
it.
gosh, this one sounds terrible. Tell
Yeah.
tell
You did
about
a
the
50
ultra you
miler. I
did.
see on is it a 50 miler or 50K?
Yeah, 9 hours
Nice.
and 45 minutes of
It's
running.
not bad.
Insane. My friend, fellow Marine, convinced me to run it, and I didn't know anything about it.
Okay, you're a
Come to
Marine.
find out,
Wait, you're a Marine?
I'm sorry. Yes. So
Okay.
I didn't really introduce professionally. Yeah,
Now
I'm
let's introduce yourself and stuff like that. Let's go a little bit back.
so yes, I'm in the United States Marine Corps. I've been in the Marine Corps for 7 years now. My husband is also a Marine, and we have a 1-year-old, Isaiah, and so we can talk about that a little bit. And then after listening to your podcasts, I guess more introductory wise, what Melanie said, I'm not a runner that recently started or started during COVID. I've been running for 19 years now, so a long
Wow.
time for a little improvement. After I was looking at stuff, I was like, man, I haven't really PR'd that many times, but when you do, it's that much sweeter. And so I've run
Now
20
let's back up
marathons.
quickly.
Yeah.
So when you say I haven't PR'd, you're specifically mean just the marathon. You're not talking about any other
Yeah.
race. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So just the marathon. Like I said, I did 20 of them up to this point, and then Maddie and I right now are simultaneously, not geographically together, but training for the CIM marathon in December. And that'll be number 21. So hopefully, big PR there.
So quickly, Maddie, Grace, are y'all racing? What's your goal, Grace, and then Maddie? What's your goal for CIM?
My goal is to PR again. The last time I PR'd was in 2022 when I ran with the Sloths, because there were people I just recognized from running with Maddie every time I would visit. And I was like, hey, I know that guy. Like, I can run with him. And then it happened multiple times throughout the Houston Marathon. And I was like, man, like, this is so great to have people to run with that are encouraging you along the way. But yeah, so that's my goal, is to PR. 2:57 was what I ran in 2022. So hoping to beat that. Yeah.
How are you feeling right
And
now?
this is your first time with a coach, too.
Yeah, I know you asked Maddie's goal, but yeah, just to hit on the coach thing,
Yeah, it's fine.
this is the first time I've ever had a coach other than like college and high school, because I ran D1 cross country and track. But for a marathon, first time I've had a coach. And so shout out to Hogan Performance, which is Jordan Hussey or Jordan Hogan's new coaching business. So she's been awesome so far. I haven't been with her long, only about a month, but so far I'm loving it. It's holding me accountable, which was the biggest thing. I have no room to be like, oh, I don't want to really run that far today, or I don't want to wake up early. And so that's been great. But yeah, I know you asked
Do you
Maddie
have?
what.
Yeah, I'll get to Maddie in a minute.
Care
I
about
just
me, guys.
no, we'll get to her for sure. When you kind of look at the coaching piece of it, it's a little different for you. And how's that been going so far? Are you like embracing it? Is it hard? Are you running with the community, or is it just still alone, or what does that look like?
So that's the bummer. The one downside I'd say about the military is that you're always moving. So every 3 years in the military, you move. So I've moved from actually where I live now to North Carolina. And then from North Carolina, I moved to Hawaii. And then from
That's
Hawaii,
not
we
bad.
recently moved back to Quantico, Virginia. And so we're living in Northern Virginia. And I haven't really gotten into a running group here. I was hopeful that I would find one right away, but things have just been like busy getting moved into our house and jobs started, all the things that go along with that. Yeah, it's been really great just having workouts planned, like somebody else to plan the misery for you and know what is laid out for the week. And so I can see, oh, Thursday is going to be a really hard tempo workout. I need to make sure I set the coffee maker. I need to make sure I go to bed with my son nice and early, and I have things set out. I have my lunch packed for work, all that, because I love to run in the morning. If I run anytime later in the day, it just throws me off for the next 2 or 3 days.
What does that look like for you've got a 1-year-old? That's going to be somewhat challenging. Your husband's there, right? I mean, he's there, but what does that look like? And is it make it a little bit harder to be perfect on your training?
Yeah, so going back to the competitiveness between me and Maddie has 3 children, which she's talked about before. So anytime I'm having a rough day, I'm like, at least I don't have 3.
That's true.
And so if
And she's got some
Maddie is
young ones, so
I know. And so twins, so if Maddie's putting in these high miles, I'm like, if she can do it with 3 kids, I can absolutely do it with 1. I might not, I don't know how we rack and stack right now speed wise, but I might not be as fast as her marathon wise with our previous races, but we'll see how CIM goes. And yeah, back to your question, like how it goes with my husband. We're both Marines, so we both work right now pretty regular office hours throughout the day. My son goes to daycare, and then I like to run in the morning, and then he does MMA, mixed martial arts, and so he works out at lunch and in the evenings. So we've got an even split system working for now, but it is exhausting. By Friday, we're like, thank goodness the week is over because we can finally relax.
yeah, that's awesome. Maddie, let's go to you. You're going to run CIM, which I know we talked about last time. How's the training been going? How's your mental toughness right now? What's going on with you?
Mental toughness, that's good. It's actually
I
going
just made it
really
up.
well. No, I like it. I think last time we spoke, I was going to focus on really like a summer of strength, which kind of turned more into summer of strength and summer of speed. Focusing on the strength aspect of it, I added an additional strength day, and I really even upped like the weights I was lifting. A lot of times I would stick to more of a moderate weight when I would do my strength workouts, and I really actually upped it to what I would consider really heavy. So I think the summer of strength went well. And then I think I focused a lot on speed. Really, what I would do is I would just show up to the track days with a lot of the sloths, either down in Richardson, we'll go to JJ Pierce High School, or we'll stick up here in Frisco. But I basically would just run with latch on to whoever was there. A lot of times it would be like Aaron Pearson, Eric Brettel, who are much faster than me. Those are like high 230 guys, low
Yep,
240s.
that's right.
And I would just hang on as long as I could. I knew I was going to die, but eventually I was able to hang on a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And I was running some really fast times, so much so that even like at the 1776, I was blown away by how fast I was able to run. Yeah, I know we have the 1776 mile marker, but the actual mile, I was shocked because that
Yeah.
was a PR for me there.
What'd you run? What was the mile time?
It was a 5:14 for,
Nice.
I guess, I don't remember exactly the 1600 versus the mile. I know we had 3 markers. One of the 2 was a 5:14, which was definitely a PR for me. So I was really happy with that. I feel like I set myself up with a good base going to CIM, where I do feel like I could PR, because even in these workouts, I feel like I've been hitting a lot faster times than what I've been doing. And I'm following the same thing. I'm still going. I don't have a coach or anything. I don't even really have a structured plan. I just know my mileage each week. And on Tuesdays, I just show up with them. And again, I hang on as long as I can. I know I'm going to get dropped. I know I'm probably going to be the last one to finish the workout. I don't care, because I'm making progress. I'm running faster. And it was actually 2 weeks ago, I had a really good workout at the lake. Jess Dees, she ended up doing it with me, which was super helpful. But it was 10, Jess Dees, Jessica Dees, Dees.
Jessica Dees. Yeah, I don't know her.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll run with a lot of the Southern Sloths, but she ran it with me, and it was 10 miles, 1 mile on, 1 mile off. Mile on, the goal was like low 6s. The mile off, I think we were targeting mid to high 6s, and I was really nervous for it. But honestly, it felt great. It was garbage weather. A lot of other people didn't feel great that day, and that was a really big confidence boost for me. So I'm hoping for more workouts like that, especially with it being summer. I'm not a hot weather runner, which has always been really tough for me in Dallas. But this summer, it really didn't bother me as much. So I don't know if I'm adapting or what.
Yeah, you are. And look, it hasn't been as hot. It's been hot and very.
Don't say that, Chris. Give me some credit. It's been hot.
No, it has. It's been extremely like humid, right? 90+% humidity. So there's that. And it's really difficult, especially in the morning. That's great. And you have a few months. And so you didn't tell me your goal. Like, what was your PR again?
My PR right now is a 250 and some change.
Okay. Wow.
Which I ran in the Woodlands in 2021. So I'm hoping to go in, fingers crossed, would love to go sub 250.
Yeah.
We will see. That's the goal.
Grace, so that's going to be hard to hang on to her.
Yeah, I know Maddie mentioned in her previous podcast, I don't like to run with people. I guess it's not that she doesn't like to run with people. She likes having people with her in a race, but she doesn't like to know they're there.
Yeah.
And so I think, honestly, that probably stems from when her and I did our first couple of races, because I think I said the same thing. I was like, don't talk to me, don't look at me. If I see you surge in front of me, okay, great. but I don't want my race or your race to be dependent on one another. So if one of us is having a bad day, let's not let that affect the other person.
Yeah. I'm an extremely mental runner, like more so even than physically, where I don't want anyone talking to me or like it's exactly that. If someone, for example, 2 Tuesdays ago, I just got on Eric Brettel because he was driving me nuts during this workout. I'm holding on for dear life, trying to keep up with these fast kids. And it's hard for them, but they're maybe not going all out as much as I am because I'm trying to keep them in my distance. Yes, it's still hard for them. But Eric is, come on, Maddie, you got it. Keep it up. Meanwhile, as he's doing his rep. And I'm like, I can't even acknowledge him. So it's, can you just shut up? I know it's not that hard for you. You're turning around yelling at me and cheering for me. So it's that kind of thing. And then I mentally think this is obviously easy enough for him. Or some of them will, a lot of the sloths, they'll sing during their workouts or they'll I'm just like, you guys suck. Like, I'm dying.
That reminds me of our brother's also a runner. He's more of an Ironman now, but he ran a race with me just in Hawaii, and he did the same thing. He was talking to me. It was only like a 10K race, and I said a similar thing. It wasn't very nice, but I was just run, like don't look at me, don't talk to me. And then he took off, and then I think he won the whole thing, but I was like, just stop. It's not
That's
the
awesome.
nicest way to tell somebody to stop, at least from what I remember, especially with siblings, because you're a bit
That's your
more.
brother.
Yes, but yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So two of you are looking forward to, I'm sure, CIM and seeing each other. Will you see each other beforehand or no?
Like before
I
we
hope
get to
so.
California?
Yeah. I
Maddie's
mean, it's only
my lodging.
Yeah, so me, Grace, and Mel, I think, are gonna stay together.
okay.
So should
So she's
be.
running it too.
Yeah, she
Awesome.
better.
Because
She just
she moved to Colorado, right?
Yeah, but she's still
Okay.
doing it. She's training. So I think she'll actually be a good person for us to, where I think we'll all be similar times.
Yeah. I
But we're
look
not gonna
forward
live
to,
together.
yeah, you're not going to stay together. You won't know where each other's are. Don't be talking to each other during the race. Yeah, I'm not a big talker during the race. I remember this one guy was like, it was a half marathon one time. Chris, how's it going? I said, Tracy, I go, you're going to have to stop talking to me right now. I'm focused and I'm going to try to go fast. Okay. He
Yeah.
goes, all right, Chris, no problem.
I like to try to reach like a special state of zen during
Yeah.
a race. And you can just zone out, you pinpoint something, and that's the best when you can reach the zen and then the miles just fly by.
What's the favorite race that you guys have done together? That maybe it was competitive or not? I don't know. What's the most fun? If it's a marathon. You said you both did Cincinnati and
Together.
I'd say
Yeah.
Cleveland Marathon, just because it's our
Cleveland.
hometown.
I would
don't
like
wanna
to go
speak for
back and do
Maddie.
Cleveland again. No, yeah, Cleveland's good. I think it would be fun to do it another time. I think to some of the more local, smaller races, like we would always do. There was a few years we did the Bay Days. That's Bay
Yeah.
Village is a town by where we grew up. They do a 5 mile 4th of July race. That was always fun. But actually, probably the turkey trots. I
Yeah, I was
love
just
turkey
gonna say the
trots.
turkey trot.
Because a lot of times it will be more than just me and Grace. Our broader family will go, and we're all pretty competitive, even though they're all pretty slow compared to Grace and I. But they are
But they at
competitive
least
among
do it.
themselves. Yeah, no, but like Morgan
Yeah.
and Jenna, so our cousin and sister-in-law are around the same pace, so they'll race each other, or our brother and
Yeah,
cousin.
true.
Those. So yeah, those are always super fun.
Is your brother
Yeah.
faster than the two of you or?
We
Depends.
have there's 4 brothers.
Okay. Depends on which
We're
one.
using them interchangeably. I don't think any of them are faster than us right now, to be honest. I think, though, for sure 3 of them aren't. But the one who was so another one, he's the one in between me and Grace. Me and him
Okay.
are 14 months apart. James.
The one that we were referring to that is the Iron Man.
He's the
Okay.
Iron Man. He was in the Marines. He lives in Hawaii. He's into tries and all that now. I don't think he's into running as much. But if he tried, he would be faster than us for sure.
Does being a Marine help? I mean,
I don't know, Grace. Does it help?
That's interesting you bring that up, talking about my brother, because he also is a Marine, but he is no longer in the Marine Corps. But it's an interesting question. Being a Marine
when you think
itself,
Marines, you think tough,
yeah,
just strong. I don't know.
I think the Marine Corps focuses a lot on functional fitness. And so as I was going through the marathons I've done before this podcast, I was like, what happened in 2022? I did, I think, 4 marathons in 2022, which is an insane amount. Yeah, I don't know. I did 2, like, in the winter in the beginning months, and then 2 in the fall, and I'm like, "Holy cow, that was so many." But none of them were fast, and I was like, "What happened?" And so that was the year and a half that I got into CrossFit, and I really started prioritizing CrossFit over running, and in my opinion, I got really good at it. And so eventually, I don't know. I guess I just fell away from CrossFit. The gym membership was expensive and I stopped doing it as much. I still really enjoy it, but to simultaneously be competitive in both running and CrossFit, I think is really hard to do. And so back to your question, yeah, I think the Marine Corps prepares you for a lifestyle of fitness and health and good habits, where some people might see it and think, oh, bad habits like alcohol and tobacco, which is far from the truth because all the Marines I know, motivators, leaders, a lot of them lead very healthy, fit lifestyles as well. So going into work, I always know people are going to be running at lunch or working out at lunch or even before work starts. So it's always really refreshing to see that and feed off of other people's motivation, especially in lieu of having a running group with all these different duty stations I've been at.
That's awesome. You go to work and people are working out during lunch or whatever, for sure afterwards or before and things like
Grace,
that.
you
So,
should, I think some things that would
Yeah.
be interesting, you should share, I guess, first of all, some of the unique, like on base, there's some unique rules about running. Like whenever I visited Grace, she's had to brief me on certain
well,
things.
Yeah, I think Maddie got in trouble once for one thing. But yeah, one thing I was just going to say about that is there's a pull up bar in every office I've ever worked in. And so there's always been a whiteboard and a pull up bar. And every time you start getting sleepy while you're working at your desk, you go do pull ups and you have a tally throughout the day or the week. And then there's a leaderboard
I
by the
like
end of
that.
it. So that's cool. Yeah, Marines love their pull ups. And so one reason me and Maddie, I feel like, started doing pull ups is because of the Marine Corps. Although Maddie isn't a Marine, she still saw me doing it, back to the competitiveness, and was like, I want to learn to do pull ups too. And so,
I want to be like my sister and do more.
yeah. So just like she did the big bad mile, I guess I did pull ups and she was like, I want to do more. But yeah, the weird rules on base. So I guess they're not weird. They're just like professionalism, respect things is you always have to wear a shirt. So when it's really hot in Hawaii, you very naturally just want to run in a sports bra and shorts, which to normal off base people is totally fine. But on base, you have to. And then there's
Even if you
the
live
base.
on base.
Yep, everybody.
Like
So
there's certain people, their house is on, like there's living spaces there. So even if you want to walk out your front door, you gotta be fully clothed.
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess
I mean, you
downside
can
of
wear
living on base.
shorts. You can wear running shorts in a shirt. It's not
Yes.
kind of like okay,
Yeah.
got it.
It's
Tank
just
top.
like when you live off base and then you go on base, it's frustrating because it's really hot today and I feel faster without a shirt on, but I have to wear it. And so just a silly thing. And then another rule that maybe Maddie's referring to is on base, there's certain areas you can't run in that are just operationally secure. Don't run there or don't take photographs of the planes, the aircraft, helicopters, you name it, drones.
No selfies or anything like that.
I think one time, this wasn't running, but we were on base for a Christmas party and Maddie like wanted to take a picture of the flight line and then somebody like came rushing over to her like, wait, stop, you can't do that. And Maddie was like,
I
oh
was
my
taking a
gosh.
picture of the sunset, but yeah, there was a plane in front of it.
It just so happened to be behind the flight line that you took the picture of.
I think some other unique things that I noticed is, so base has some really cool, I'm thinking of Hawaii because that's where Grace was most recently. They have a lot of, maybe this is probably all bases, they have these hit lockers, which are like these high intensity interval training outdoor workout spaces, and they're all across, maybe I'm wrong, but all across base, and there's some on track there. So a lot of times we would want to run from Grace's house to base to go work out there. But you have to be like, anytime you enter base, it's like a very secure checkpoint. You have to have your ID. So you can't just run there. So I don't know. Maybe people all know these things, but I thought they were interesting.
Yeah, that is just one thing you don't really think about, I guess, running off base. But anytime, like for the convenience when you're at work, just going for a run, it's if I'm going to leave base to get some change in scenery, I have to take my ID with me. And I know Maddie loves her pockets full of stuff when she runs, but
That's
I
true.
am very minimalist.
Wait
And
until you find
I,
out what your deadly allergy is.
fortunately, none yet, but
You'd be surprised. You don't know. It could come up anytime.
I do think when you become a mom, you automatically feel like not obligated, but I feel a lot more inclined to bring my cell phone with me. And so running with an ID seems minimal when you run with your big iPhone. But I really started to like the new like running tank tops from Running Rabbit that has the pocket in the back. So that's made it a lot easier. But
There's now a pocket in the
yeah,
back for, do you put your cell phone back there or just gels or what?
yeah, you can put anything. It's a pocket like sized for an iPhone, but it's right in between your shoulder blades, and I really like it because I don't take my phone out a lot. I'm sure it would be annoying if you frequently have to look at your phone, but
That's for sure.
yeah.
Wait, I got a call.
Yeah.
I've been taking my phone on some of my runs only because I'm now one of the admins for White Rock Running Co-op. And so somebody's got to take pictures. And so now
Yeah.
I'll just take pictures and things like that and carry my phone in my back pocket, which fits very nicely. But I'm not a big fan of taking phones and I don't like it. But I did think about Maddie whenever I was carrying that thing in a gel or two. And I was like, man, she
It's a
sees
lot.
even more than mine. So I don't even know,
I've even added some new accessories.
man.
I got one of those like portable speaker things. I don't know if you've seen those clip-on ones, and we'll use them for workouts. So I have
Double
that.
Campbell.
speakers.
Yeah.
You're trendy
Matt
now.
Campbell has
music?
one. Eric has one. It's just like I think it's like neck gear or something. It's just a very small clip-on speaker. It's like the size of a small running light. You can get it on Amazon, but it plays out loud. So when we have big groups, we all just listen to music. We make playlists, share them. So I'll have that, and then a running light usually as well. EpiPen, phone, goose, water. I got it all. Should bring some snacks too, maybe hand them
Well, I
out.
think you have to carry some stuff for sure during a marathon. So, Grace, I assume you're carrying some gels or something, water
Yeah, I
maybe.
feel like gel versus iPhone though is like way different. I'm not worried about a gel getting like waterlogged or
Or
chafing against
funny.
my back or something like that. But yeah, only recently, I think I was listening to, yeah, Melanie's podcast yet again. She had a lot of shout outs today, but she was saying how never skip a water stop because somebody else told her that. And I recently did the Maui Marathon this year in, let's see, that was in April of this year. And I was thinking that going into it, I was like, I'm going to stop at every water stop, or not stop, but get water every water stop, even if it's in the first mile. I didn't plan for water or anything like that. My husband was there, but it was an out and back on a kind of a busy road. So it was hard for him to really get to me because traffic was on the other side. All that to say, it was a cupless marathon. And so they issued you a disposable rubber, like silicone type cup. And they gave you like a demonstration at packet pickup. This is how you use this. You need to keep it the whole time. You need to shove it in your sports bra or your
Yep.
shorts, and every water stop,
I think
you
trail
need to
runners
take
use
it
that.
out.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Anyways, go
if you
ahead.
want water, take it out. And I'm like, okay, is there like gonna be water in case you lose it or anything? And their answer was, oh, just don't lose it. And I was like, okay. And the marathon itself was beautiful, great like views the whole time. It was cool. I love the island of Maui. It was awesome, except for the cups. It just wasn't practical for people that were running at a 6:30 to 6:40 minute pace. And you're running past maybe the Boy Scout water stand, and they're not really trained to fill up cups of water that fast. And I
Gotta train them
went
first.
that whole race. I felt amazing the whole first half. I was like, this is awesome. I'm in a PR. There was a lady on her bike, and it kills me. I can't remember her name. She was awesome. Super encouraging. She was actually the cup demo lady at the packet pickup, but she was riding in front of me the whole time. Like I said, great things to say about the race, just aside from the whole cup thing, because I felt like I didn't get really any fluids like the whole race. Because as you can imagine, running past at that pace, not really slowing down much to fill your cup at every water stop, you got a centimeter of water in the bottom of your cup. And by the end of it, I was just so dehydrated. I remember mile 24, I think, my leg cramped so bad, and that's never happened to me before. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Just finish this thing. And so that whole last mile, I was like, just hang on. But I finished first female, so I was stoked about that. And I didn't PR, although I was really hoping to. This was my first really marathon I trained for postpartum. So it was just under, let's see, it was 10 months postpartum. And so I really wanted to PR, and I ran a 3:01, so did not hit my 2:57
Pretty
PR.
good.
Surpassed. Yeah,
Feel really good.
thank you.
Think about it like
That's kind of
postpartum, 10
yeah, that's
months and no water.
What's
So, I mean,
optimistic?
Trying to PR 10 months postpartum.
I know, but everybody says, and I saw Maddie, she did great after she had her first daughter, Sage, and even after the twins, like coming back and just hitting the ground running, literally, and not skipping a beat. I was like, I can do this. Mom strength's a real thing. All the perfect parameters are in place. This is a beautiful marathon. It's going to be awesome. I used it as a see you later to Hawaii as well because we were moving a month after that. My final hurrah, let's make it count, finally PR, because it had been since 2022. And unfortunately, it didn't happen, but I'm hopeful for CIM that I can get a PR.
I think it is a big opportunity for you to do that. Although 301 is amazing. So we've got to put that in perspective, right? You're not all that far from it. So that's positive. But you'll have your sister there, you'll have people you know there. So there's always that little boost, I think, that to me is helpful. And hopefully that will be for you as well.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Seeing other
Carry
sloths
some water
there
if you
is going
have
to
to.
be. I hope CIM has cups of water. If not, I might pre-plant some.
I think they
Just
will.
styrofoam cups throughout the course.
One thing I will say though about Grace mentioned the whole mom strength thing, and okay, say what you will. I know it's like a cheesy term, but I will say a lot of people always ask, like, how do you find the time? They'll ask Grace, they'll ask me, they'll ask Mel, they'll ask all of us people who have kids who run, and how do
Well,
you
I think
find the
Chris
time
asked
to
that at the beginning.
yeah, how do you find the time to run? How do you find the time to progress? And just how do you do it? I think a lot of people are curious about that. And I would say, yes, I think mom strength is true, but I really think a lot of it is just you learn how to prioritize your time. If I'm driving down to the lake and I'm leaving my husband with 3 kids for a morning, I'm not going there just to lollygag. If
Right.
I'm
No
I am
tacos
going
afterwards.
no, and you have to that's right. Yeah, no taco joint after. But it's you are there to just get the job done. You are just focused on the prize and you're focused on you just really push for that short amount of time that you have and you need to be really strategic about it. And also I think you're strategic about I know Grace has the coach which has helped her be structured, but for me like at the beginning of the week, number one, I have the same routine. Every week I do the same, not the same like workouts and all that, but I have the same schedule. And then also making sure that I plan out the mileage, figure out how much time I have, looking at my work schedule, looking at my husband's. Hey, are you cool if I'm a little bit later this morning? Whatever it ends up being. So I think that's a big piece of it.
No, it's obviously you have to structure that time in the right way. Obviously, that's important. But
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Grace, what you meant by mom strength, because I was like, of course, I don't have that, but maybe Maddie said it perfectly. I don't know.
On the note of like structure, yeah, you do need to prioritize things because sometimes you feel guilty. Hey, I could be spending time at home with my son. And sometimes if you run with a stroller, I know a lot of people hate doing stroller runs, but I don't mind it all that much. I see it as a little bit of an extra strength workout. But I feel like I'm
Sure.
like the most type A, type B person you might meet. And what I mean by that is that in work and certain things, I am very particular, very stubborn, very regimented. Like, my way or the highway. But then I think after running in high school and college, and there really wasn't a choice to not run. Like college, they're paying for school. You need to
Yeah.
show up to practice. You have no choice. So you need to run. And then same thing, I guess, with the Marine Corps. You always have a physical fitness test, actually 2 a year, a combat fitness test and a physical fitness test. And so you never have room to waver in your physical abilities. And what I see with being the most type A, type B person is that in my free time, I don't want to plan things. I don't want to have a regimented schedule. I want to fly by the seat of my pants. And so with running, after college, I was like, I don't have to run if I don't want to. And for a long time, I was just kind of, yeah, I'll go run 8 miles today, or I don't feel like running. I'm just going to go to the gym and do pull-ups or something. But I've never really had a strong running community as I hate to say this, it's like I'm not from Dallas, I haven't lived in Dallas, but like the Sloths is I see how awesome it is to have people to run with that are fast and you can count on them to show up. And
You're all serious. Yeah.
yeah, they're serious. That's a great way to put it. A lot of running groups that I've found in my different duty stations are very social running groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always like maybe a couple fast people. And I hate to say they're usually guys that are around my pace. And I don't want to run with a bunch of guys all the time. That's kind of weird. And yeah, I think I've gone through a cycle of really hating structured running, workouts, all that sort of thing, minus my little CrossFit era where I really enjoyed it because it was going to a gym and the workout was planned for you. You didn't put any thought into it. You showed up, you did the workout, and you're like, it was really hard, but I did it with people and it was fun. We listened to music. And we had a great conversation after, and then we all went home and ate a big meal. But yeah, with the sloths and having that running community, and not just the sloth group, I know there's Pegasus and some of the other ones, but in Texas, I feel like I'm the lone wolf in whatever duty station I'm in from the sloths because I can still see their runs on Strava. I can still see them on Instagram. I know like their routine. I hate to say, like Maddie said, she always is very intentional about her time when she goes to do runs with whoever it might be at the lake. And so they always take a picture after, or they always stop at a certain bathroom, that sort of thing. And so seeing their runs, I can live vicariously through them. And I'm like, okay, like they did this workout today. What's to say I can't do it? Now it's a little different because I have a coach that's telling me what to do, but still seeing somebody suffering from miles and miles away, all the way in Texas, is still encouraging. So I really appreciate that from the sloths.
That's pretty cool. I like that. You don't really have a running community today to be a part of. And so you just look at the slots and how they're doing and your sister and follow them on Strava. That's pretty cool. I love that.
Maybe we should make this Grace's PSA, like calling all DC fast runners. We're looking to make a branch.
There's got to be a
that's
lot of
another-
people in DC or close over there.
Yeah.
There's got to be lots of groups
Yeah.
over there.
And there's a couple I've looked at. The big thing that I've noticed is being a crazy, like weird work dynamic structure with my husband is that we're both Marines, so we have to be at work early and we live far from work. And a lot of those running groups are in like DC proper, where we live outside of DC. So it's just a lot of driving traffic.
That'd probably be a
that-
weekend thing that you'd be able
Yeah,
to
I
even-
think that would be the only solution is like long runs on the weekend. But yeah, on a run that I forget when we were there for Maddie's twin's birthday, we did a long run with the sloths, and we were just talking about how the sloths started and how Maddie kind of had all these people gravitate towards the sloths because I know like Jennifer started running with Maddie and then the sloths became a thing. And then I was like, I am like the lone wolf sloth, but Maddie and I started running together well before the sloths even developed. So I guess in a way we were our own little sloth team before they were fully a team or I don't know, group.
I am not taking credit for the sloths, so let me preface that.
I'm not trying to
But-
take credit for the sloths, but I do think like having somebody to run with and people gravitating towards you is really what caused the sloths to be what they are today.
Yeah, I think it was a
Story on why
factor
that
of
happened.
things.
If Melanie told me that story or if you did, Maddie, it's one of you.
I don't know. I can share it on here if you're curious. I think people are
Yeah.
always wondering how the sloth has come about. Why are we called the sloths? Honestly, it's nothing special. It's nothing exciting. There's running threads across the board. Everyone has group chats about, where are we running, when, what are we doing? And one morning, we used to always go to Bluebonnet Trail we would meet at the QT there, and it would just be an out and back on the trail. And usually we would do tempos on Thursdays. And I think it was some Wednesday night we were planning the run. Someone said, I don't even know who said it. Are we running sloth mile, like the sloth emoji miles or cheetah emoji miles? They're like, I'm only coming if it's sloth emoji miles. And it just, honestly, that's how it stemmed into the sloth. I think someone just titled the chat that as a joke and we ran with it. And that was before sloths sloths are trendy now. Like you see sloths everywhere, but that was, I don't even know how many years ago. And then it's taken off. I will say since Matt Campbell started running with us, he's done so much with the sloth. People joke that Matt's commercialized the sloth, which honestly, it's great. Honestly, it's great. I'll take it. Matt has done a lot and I think it's awesome.
I think it's really cool. I heard the story around a lot of you were running with Ray and track team and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It was
And
one
then
of those, that's
branched
exactly
off.
it. We were all running with RTC. That was my origin to DFW running, was through Ray and that whole group. And then it was just from that text thread, other text threads form. And that's really what it was.
I think it's so interesting. And Grace, when you look at kind of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, both women and men are really fast. There's lots of women here running under 3-hour marathons, and it's pretty spectacular. I don't know that I see that too much in one specific area. I'm not in a lot of areas, but it's just, 10 years ago, I didn't see that at all. Like running under a 3-hour marathon was like for even a guy, it was really hard. You know what I
I
mean?
think
Now it's
Dallas is
crazy.
yeah. Dallas is a really special place in that there are a lot of insanely fast runners,
Hmm.
men and women. And I also think, just from an outsider perspective, there's a lot of young adults, I'd say 25 to these, that are runners in Dallas. And I mean, looking at peak running ages, a lot of men and women peak in their 30s at running, and maybe that's why people feed off each other. And then, holy cow, White Rock Lake, going there for long runs, it's insane the amount of people that are out
Yeah.
there on a Saturday morning running. Like, I have never seen that anywhere. Even going to the National Mall, which we've done a couple of times, you don't see that many people running around the National Mall on a Saturday morning like you do at White Rock Lake.
You need next time if you go to Austin to visit Will, Grace, even like Lady Bird Lake is even crazier than White Rock. So much so I could be wrong on this, but I think a lot of times the running groups won't even run around Lady Bird just because it's so crazy in Austin
I feel like Houston is a huge,
and Houston.
Houston
Yeah.
also is a big running community. So when you think of Texas, you've got DFW for sure. I think San Antonio's pretty good. Austin, obviously, and Houston are just full of really amazing runners and
Yeah.
some great races as well in those areas. So I don't know what it is about Texas. So maybe I should start a podcast around. I can't even interview enough people in Dallas. So trying to get to all of Texas will be really difficult, but still.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything's bigger in Texas. Everyone's faster in Texas. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, like if you look at DFF, it's interesting because you have some extremely fast men and women, extremely fast. I haven't seen like Matt Campbell was like, we're trying to get the Sloths, some of these guys and some of these women under 230s to hit the 220s. And hopefully Matt can do that and maybe a few others coming up, whether it's CIM or some other race. But I don't see any 210ers here in Dallas Fort Worth. Just don't. But I do see
Up
it in
the
Austin.
ante.
But it is,
Yeah.
yeah. So I do see it in Austin and I do see it in Houston. So it's interesting. I don't think we're there yet. I'm not saying there's not one person here, but I haven't seen them. I haven't,
Yeah.
if I saw them, I would try to talk to them. But yeah, Grace, there's got to be stuff around you. But like you said, with drive and everything else, you'll have to do it on the weekends, probably.
Yeah, there definitely are, even like some of the regulars I've seen at the tracks I've gone to early in the morning that are also like running in the dark. We're still getting our feet under us here. Yeah, the big thing that I didn't realize I would have to deal with here is coyotes. That's something that threw me off running on the trails here. I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do with coyotes on the trail? And so I'm just figuring out places to run around here still and getting a feel for what I like to run and where I like to run and what the best options are with bathrooms, with water stops, that sort of thing.
I could see that as a big challenge going somewhere new. And it's a fun challenge, probably, but you don't know where to go, where to run. So you got to start somewhere. How much in the neighborhood can you run in and where in the neighborhood can you run in to get maybe some longer miles to where you don't have to drive somewhere, going to get track workouts, all of those kinds of things. And it's hard to build relationships with new people long term. Even if you go run with them, you don't know them for a while.
Yeah. I think that's another thing with a lot of my running friends have been fellow Marines.
Mm.
But like I said, we move every 3 years. So it's like making new adult friends every time you go somewhere, which, yes, they develop over time, but like every time you pick up and go somewhere new, it's, oh, here we go again. And I hate to say that I am not a fan of driving places to run, with being intentional with your time and wanting to maximize the amount of time in the day. I feel like driving places just takes away from that, and I should probably change my mindset on that because there's a lot of great places I might be missing out on.
For
But
sure.
I really like the fact of walking out my door, going for a run, coming right back in, stretch, shower, grab food, and then hit the road wherever I have to go next. So I think that's just a me thing that I need to overcome at some point to make new running friends and find a running group. So hopefully that'll happen soon.
Annie, were you going to say
Okay.
something?
Yeah, I'm going to totally switch gears because one thing I feel like we didn't talk about that I think is interesting that I think we should talk about with Grace is, Grace, you like 5-secondly brushed over your background and like your intro into running. And I really think I should share what I
Are you
think
canvassing
are
now?
No, I just think like you brushed over things because you don't think that they're that interesting. But I think these are some things, which is why I thought it would be good for Chris to have you on. And feel free to chime in and interrupt me at any point. But first of all, let me preface it by saying Grace has always been, I don't even want to use the word stubborn because I think I'm quite stubborn, but like Grace has always just done Grace. Like Grace is just going to do what she wants to do. She doesn't want to be told what to do. She doesn't want to be told where to be. She doesn't care if she's the only person who is doing said activity or she's going to go take a nap as everyone else is in the other room. Grace is going to do Grace. That has been her since the beginning. Like she said, Grace played ice hockey growing up. Only girl on the team since, how old were you when you started playing?
Like 5.
So Grace started playing hockey because our brothers played hockey. And why not? Why not play hockey? So I
You
think
played
that's
hockey
one thing.
too for
For one
a
season, and I realized I don't want to be the only girl on a hockey team. This sucks. But Grace kept it up. Then you started running quite early on, like maybe 7th or 8th grade. And Grace said she did the mile and 2 mile, which is correct. But probably in like 8th grade, 8th grade, however old that is, Grace would go on like
11.
Okay. Grace, she would go on 16-mile runs. She would
What?
just leave as a 14-year-old and go. And I remember being like, as junior and senior in high school, thinking, what is wrong with her? Why is she going and running these long runs? And you can elaborate on it a bit, Grace. But then, and I don't know why my mom even let her, because that's strange. But then she did the Cleveland Marathon when she was 14 years old. I remember my only memory of that was my mom thinking, oh gosh, this runs through some not great areas in Cleveland. Is she going to be okay? And I remember going to the finish line of that marathon, just thinking that, good job, but why would you do this? What is
Good
messed
job.
up? What's wrong with your mind? So very early on, Grace was into distance running. I don't know what triggered in your head as like a child, but I feel like now she would be one of those kids you would see on social media. 10-year-old
Yeah.
girl runs a marathon.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
never see that. So what
Yeah,
was going through your
bummer.
mind, Grace? I want to hear the story here.
Yeah.
You should have told us
I
this.
won't. I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed the whole social media era of popularity.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess it was once track started and I was doing the 2 mile, I was like, I can run slower the farther I go. So this is great. It doesn't matter what pace I run. And so I would just increase the distance more and more. And then like I said, the most type A, type B person you might meet. I got so fixed on having my running schedule. As a 14 is when I ran my first marathon, but this probably started when I was like 10. So building up to that I needed to run. And people would ask, how much do you run? Oh my gosh, I see you all over town. And my go-to thing was I run every other day. And then they're like, my car can't even go that far. How far do you run? And I was like, 10 miles every other day, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And I was super regimented about it. I would do the same route every time. So I guess my mom had peace of mind knowing I was doing the same exact route. But
10
yeah,
miles.
I always, sorry, what?
I said it was 10 miles. That's a pretty long
Yeah.
route. 5 out, 5 back,
Yeah,
maybe.
like I still have the route like pretty memorized in my head. And because the route went, our parents are divorced, and it would go between our parents' house and then loop-de-loop around the whole town and back to one of their houses. So I could do the route from either house, and it would be the
Okay.
same thing. So I was a little OCD
But
about
one other thing
when
I'll
and
add to
where.
this is, and not to get too deep, I feel like when all this was happening was right when our parents were getting divorced. So I feel like some of this was like a coping mechanism.
Maybe.
You probably don't even think that, Grace, but that's my
Yeah.
psychoanalysis of you.
I think this was like a bit after our parents got divorced. So yeah, I wouldn't say that's what it was. I think really what it boiled down to was I like knew I could keep surpassing my limits and go farther and farther. And I knew I was one of the few people, I mean, I guess 10 to 14-year-old, whatever age I was, is doing this. Like I could be
Hardly
really
any.
good because there's not that many people doing it. And in my head, I remember always thinking, I really want to do a marathon. That would be the coolest thing ever, to complete a marathon or be like the youngest girl to complete a marathon, which I know 2011 was not probably the case. I don't know what the youngest girl to ever run a marathon is. I'm sure I could look it
I'll
up,
Google
but
it.
that was like my like big ambition. I was like, to run a marathon. This will be amazing. And so then in my head, I was like, even more amazing would be to run and qualify for the Boston Marathon at like such
9
a
years
young
old, by the way. Sorry, they beat
9
you.
years old. Okay. So I was, well, by the time I actually ran one, I was 14. So I was 5 years off from the world record. But in my head, that was just motivation to keep me running, and I thought it was really cool. And yeah, I thought it'd be even better to run the Boston Marathon. And then I looked it up, and I remember just being crushed because I saw there was an age limit to register. And I'm like, man, like, what a jip. Like, I've been training so hard for this long, and like, I'm not even old enough to run it. And I was like, maybe I can have my mom register as herself and I can run it as my mom. Because
Good
as
option.
a 14-year-old or 10 to 14-year-old, you're just trying to like figure out how can I go about doing this and not break rules or get in trouble. And yeah, I ran the Cleveland Marathon in 2011. I ran it in 3 hours and 41 minutes. And
That's good.
then, yeah, and then I was like, all right, checking the box. That's awesome. Didn't do another marathon until Maddie actually 2 years later was like, I'm going to do my first marathon. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean? You used to make fun of me for running so far. What do you mean you're going to do a
Uh-huh.
marathon? That's my thing. And then yeah, Maddie was in college at University of Cincinnati, and we went down. It was only like a 4-hour drive from where we lived in Cleveland, and we went down, I think, because she was running the marathon. And I was like, you know what? You don't really know what you're doing. I'm going to run this with you. So I was like, I'll just pace you for it. And in my head, that's not at all like what my actual motives were. It was like, how am I going to let my sister run a
Mind you,
marathon?
she's 15 in this time.
She's only a
This when I
year
was 16. I
older.
had to do
Okay,
some
2 years.
like math.
16.
Yeah, 16, and this was in 2013.
She
And
is competitive then
what'd
with
you
you,
say?
Maddie. So I said you're very competitive with Maddie there. That was funny.
Yeah, I think I'm just competitive as a person, but yeah, and we ran it. We started together, and I think that was one of the times when I was like, "Don't look at me, don't talk to me. Let's just start together and see how it goes." And Maddie beat me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she beat me. What am I doing with my life?"
Oh my
And
gosh.
so then I was like, all right, rematch. Let's sign up for the Buffalo Marathon in 2014. And so the next year, my dad drove us to Buffalo, New York. I'm sorry if any listeners are from Buffalo, but it was very random.
No, it's actually a really good marathon.
In the
Buffalo.
Rust
It's very
Belt,
flat.
Buffalo, New York. All right. So saddle up, we go to Buffalo, New York, and we both ran the Buffalo Marathon, and I looked up the results of that, and once again, Maddie beat me by 6 minutes. And
Wow,
I
not
don't
that bad.
know if we ran that one together or
I
really
can tell
what
you
the
exactly
conversation
why
was.
I beat you in all of these. I don't think, have you ever beat me in a marathon? I think maybe Cleveland one year.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was trying to figure out which
It's
ones did we
because
do after
you
that.
don't have a routine. You just do these on a whim and you don't really train.
Yeah.
So you just jump
Yeah,
in and you can run decent times, yes, but I think if you trained to the amount I trained, then you would be better than me. Yeah, it
but
will be
at that
interesting to
time,
see.
I don't think you were really training. I
I
think
was.
this early on for the Buffalo
No, I
Marathon.
was. Yeah, I trained. Not like this, but yeah, I
Yeah.
trained.
I feel like there's been a lot of maturing that's happened over the past decade, but I can definitely say I haven't run a smart marathon up until today. And so I'm very hopeful that having a coach and running CIM will change that trend that I've had going. But yeah, so Maddie beat me in the Buffalo Marathon. Fast forward, we do countless other marathons, some together, some apart. I did 3 marathons on deployment all throughout Italy, which was really cool.
Wow.
None of which were actually, one was a 3:09, so this was in 2020. So I did speed up a little bit, but it took years and years of just figuring out what the heck a marathon is and how fast to run it and what to expect to actually PR. And so fast forward to today, still sitting at 2:57, but we'll see if
Okay, I think Maddie has a
I
good point. And now that I know, your training habits, not that you don't go run, but you when you do sit down and truly train hard for a marathon, and hopefully obviously it's what you're doing this time, sky's the limit for you. Literally the sky is the limit. Like you're running 2 hours and 57 minutes and consistently 3 hour marathons or ish. The talent is there. You just have to up the miles and do the training. And
Yeah.
man, you definitely can be faster than Maddie even today if you want it. You can.
CIM,
I
it's on. It's on.
Yeah.
I weirdly think that I've learned a lot from DFW Run Talk because it's not forced learning. It's like leisure. Listen to this and listen to what other people are doing. And it's, oh, should I be doing that? Because I haven't. Maybe I should, and maybe it'll make me better. And so, like the water thing or the nutrition thing, like, I know you talked about goos in a podcast, and I was like, man, I remember going marathons not even eating one goo. Should I probably be eating those like a little more frequently? And so now Jordan right now is, you should have one every 5K. And I'm like, every 5K? I don't know if I can hold that down, but we'll test it. And so getting nutrition down, getting a training plan down, and having a text from a coach actually seeing if you're getting workouts in and you're hitting times has proven up to this point, granted no injuries, no hiccups, has proven to be really helpful, and I'm optimistic about CIM.
I can't wait. I'm really excited now. You both are just watching the two of you, and look, both of you are excellent runners and doing amazing things in the running community. You both have kids, jobs, and everything that's going on with life, and you're still overcoming. I say overcoming, you're still doing great things, and it's pretty cool to see. And obviously, you have to have partners, husbands, whatever, that help, and you have that as well. I always think so. It's funny. My wife said, me and my wife, when we get together, I don't know, 12, 13, whatever years ago, we were running at DRC, Dallas Running Club, and we met each other. And it's just so much easier to be with somebody that understands that you have to train, they have to train. And it's just, yeah, they're just going to go off and do this 20 miler or whatever they're doing. And you just understand, yeah, I got to watch kids, fine, no problem. Just is what it
Yeah.
is. If they're not like that, then, it's going to be some opportunities within the relationship. Luckily that, in my opinion, for us, it's never been a problem to, hey, she's going to go off and do 20. And when she was doing 100 milers or 50 milers or whatever, you can go off and do a 50 miles loop around the lake. Do it she's
Yeah,
going to be
no,
going for 8
it's
hours,
true.
9 hours, whatever it is. Maybe I'll go to the lake and go give her some water or something. I don't know, whatever. I mean, it's just
No, it's just it's having someone who gets it. The other day I was finishing a workout and I thought I was having a foot pain. My arch was really hurting me and I was really bummed. I was like, wow, it's just a really good workout. And I told my husband, and then I take off my shoe and there was a rock in my shoe. And I was like, oh, thank God. It was just a rock on my arch. He's thank God. I was like, what do you mean, thank God? He's like, I can't deal with you being injured. Like he knows. So yeah, same thing.
Yeah, same. Leah was injured for, I don't know, a couple months, and it was hard for her because she hasn't been injured in 15 years and doing
That's
this
rough,
running.
yeah.
15 years. And so
Wow, 15 years, no injury?
that's right.
That's
And,
impressive.
Wow.
she's on her
She's doing something
13th
right.
Boston Marathon in a row. And,
Yeah.
last year was for her pretty tough because then she had to, but instead now she has big muscles for the last 2 years. She's been working out, looking great. I was like, keep going, get those muscles.
That's awesome.
But ladies, this has been amazing. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you're like, Chris, we should have covered this?
I hope what listeners get out of this is we are very similar, but it just shows like there's not a one size fits all approach. Grace has a coach, but she's a very she says she's type A. She's not type A at all. Grace is the most type B person ever. And she needs that structure and she needs somebody to tell her what to do and when to do it. And it works for her and that's totally fine. Whereas me, I'm type A to a T. Like it drives Grace nuts. And I don't necessarily need that. But there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just what works for you. And yeah, curious to see how it all plays out.
Great. Anything great?
No, yeah, I think we talked a lot, so thank you for patiently listening, and I really appreciate all your podcasts that have gotten me through some long, lonely Hawaii runs. So I hope you keep doing what you're doing for a while and continue to have great guests on your show, and I'm excited for the next, how many months until CIM? Like 4 months, and to see what
It'll be here
comes of
before
it.
you know it. Great. Ladies, I've truly enjoyed this and I appreciate the two of you coming on, and we'll have to do it again maybe after CIM if you want to. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another DFW Running Talk. I'm Chris Stetzel. Don't forget to subscribe to dfwrunningtalk.substack.com, our newsletter. Until then, thanks everyone. Thanks Maddie and thanks Chris.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah.